The idea is that the manager is responsible for your well-being. Like even though it's a work relationship, like if you are, like not happy, like you're depressed or you're facing imposter syndrome, some very deep issue, like you frankly can't perform, right? So it's in like everyone's best interest to debug that. Like, for you, you want to get out of that so you can go back to being performant. And then of course every manager wants like a happy, healthy team that is able to have a clear mind and get the work done. So this is much easier said than done, admittedly. But in the end, like I feel like a good manager should be receptive to your current state. Of course, you shouldn't expect them to like, be your psychiatrist or psychologist or therapist or something, but like they should at least be willing to listen and kind of understand your problems and just provide like a very like comforting, receptive set of ears and a shoulder to kind of lean on. So if you're really feeling like down for whatever reason and you're just not able to, like there's just something wrong, you should tell your manager. That's kind of the main person to tell when it comes to these situations, because again, like these two realms are very connected, right? Like if your overall mindset, your overall mental emotional state is not healthy, it's going to be very hard for you to perform at work, right? It's really hard to kind of completely isolate those two from one another. Like they're deeply connected. So of course it takes some time to do this because you can't really go into your first one-on-one with your manager and do this. But if you're doing the one-on-ones properly, and especially if you're having a weekly meeting, that relationship should build like on a fairly like quick time span. Hopefully like within 1 or 2 months, you feel pretty comfortable with one another. And then you should be able to start sharing like the deeper stuff. This kind of goes back to the previous slide on like being awkward. This is kind of like a big part of it. And yeah, this is a huge mistake that I made earlier in my career where I would hide stuff from my manager and then it just like severely affected my performance. Luckily enough, when I started at Facebook, my first manager was able to see this. It's actually the same manager that Rahul had. But I was facing like a pretty big bout of imposter syndrome because I was working in like a big tech company, Facebook, for the first time. And he just realized something was off. He's like, "Are you okay?" And then I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "You don't seem okay." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right." So yeah, he was like really, really receptive, but not everyone is going to have a manager who's that perceptive. So to make things easier for a manager, it's, tell them first, put your foot forward. And, because a lot of the things that we're talking about here is the kind of core concept to realize is that managers are super, super busy. They have so much stuff to do. Being a manager is so incredibly hard. And kind of a lot of the content in this presentation is about how you can make it easier for your manager to plug in, essentially like make it easy for you to receive help, to lessen the burden on them.